It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Wednesday's Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. On this, the 30th day of July 2025, coming to you from my studio in Forest, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. Today's show, of course, is brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around, and by chilliescruises. And an early morning hello to Gary Older Than Dirt and Bob and Mike, who are the first three in the chat room this morning. Good to have you guys with us. All right, we've got several stories. Of course, one broke overnight. Not a ton of news other than what broke overnight, but still, that's could be pretty significant. Got a couple other things to cover. The headlines for today's show, the lead, of course, is the tsunami waves strike Hawaii. Also, this morning, ships sailed, cruisers left behind. Norwegian to build 19-slide water park. A guest falls from a pool deck. Cancellation of Pearl Cove reservations. Passenger death leads to an FBI investigation. A Delta pilot arrested. And the State Department raises a couple travel advisories. That and lots more live here at 11 o'clock this morning. All right, folks. Today is National Cheesecake Day. I admit it, I like cheesecake. I like just about any kind of cheesecake. One of my true weaknesses, I think, that and banana pudding. I'm just kind of freaky stuck on both of those. All right, this day in history. In 1965, President Lyndon Baines Johnson signs the Social Security Act of 1965 into law, establishing Medicare and Medicaid. Once again, maybe we should notify the folks in Washington, both sides, I'm not saying, both sides of the aisle, of what happened in 1965 and why it happened and why it's still important today, and let's quit screwing with it. Seems like, over the years, and I'm not pointing fingers on either side here, folks. Yes, right now the Republicans are trying to do away with parts of it or cut back on parts of it. The Democrats over the year have had their fair hand in spending some of the money that was set aside for that from us. Maybe both sides of the aisle just need to look at what we have and why we have it. I realize that that's hard in the current atmosphere, but anyway. All right, if you're a podcast person, welcome aboard. You can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and voila, up pops the fat guy. I'm going to be on my good behavior for the rest of today's show and try to get through the show without screwing anything up. The likelihood of that happening is rather bleak, but we're gonna try. All right, before we get to the news, folks, we got a couple of things to handle. All right, let's see. This is from Elizabeth. She was on her way into Amsterdam yesterday with the little clips that she come on tongue that she sent us. So there's a couple of pictures from Amsterdam. We haven't talked about my girl Rochelle for a while, Rochelle Salerno. She is on Procida Island, a little island, and apparently, and I'm not sure what ship she's on. I sent her a message and I have not heard back from her yet, but apparently she sailed from Naples, and I'm not sure on what, or anyway, I don't have the details because I just had the first batch of pictures that were sent through. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll know, or by Friday, I'll know more about what's going on down there. This was Mount Etna. I think that was from one of the high points above the mountain itself, the volcano itself. And then up a little north of that in Florence, we talked yesterday about Corey and his group crews were in Florence. Well, some of them went over to Pisa yesterday, and this is our friend Sandy Trail holding up the Leaning Tower of Pizza. She's, of course, Corey Lee, Curb Free Corey Lee, mama. So she was on this show a couple weeks ago now. So anyway, just a little humor injected into what is an awesome trip. So, all right, one more thing before we get to the news. This is the Pacific weather map. Simply because it's weird. If you look closely, Iona is the hurricane. It's still hurricane strength, carrying 75-mile-an-hour winds. The pressure is 987. It's moving west at 20 miles an hour now. Now, right behind that is Kelly, whose pressure is dropping. It's Tropical Storm Kelly, whose pressure is dropping. Winds at 40 miles an hour. It's at 1,006 millibars. It's moving west at 21 miles an hour. So it's moving a little faster than Iona. Then the system behind it is showers and thunderstorms associated with an area of low pressure located about 1,150 miles east-southeast of the Hawaiian Islands. If persistent showers and thunderstorms redevelop during the next day or so, and it could become a tropical depression, and which could form and possibility of further formation. That said, they're saying 50% chance in the next 48 hours and 50% chance for the next 7 days. And then if you move back to the east toward the coast of Central America, there we have shower activity associated with the trough of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the southwestern coast of Mexico. A little better organized today. Environmental conditions appear conducive for development, and a tropical depression is likely to form during the next day or two while the system moves west-northwest around 15 miles an hour, remaining well offshore of the southwestern coast of Mexico. Formation for the next 48 hours is at 80%, and for the next 77 days at 90%. But again, the important thing, folks, is that's off the coast and not likely to affect land. However, it could affect shipping. So that will have to follow in the next few days. All right, I wanted to bring that up before we got on with the news for today. I'll be back with Lester and today's news after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right, so here's the news for today. Lester, take it over.
Tsunami waves reached Hawaii early Wednesday following a powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake off Russia's eastern coast, prompting widespread tsunami warnings across the Pacific and triggering evacuations in multiple countries, including the US and Japan. The undersea quake, one of the strongest ever recorded, struck near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula, where initial reports from authorities confirmed several injuries. In Japan, at least one person has also been hurt. Coastal areas near the quake's epicenter experienced flooding, while waves surged ashore in northern Japan. In Hawaii, tsunami waves as high as 6 feet, 1.8 meters, have already been observed. Officials warned that even larger waves are possible, cautioning residents and visitors about the force of the incoming water. People can drown quite easily, one official said, urging immediate evacuation from low-lying areas. Honolulu streets quickly filled with traffic as residents sought higher ground, and evacuation orders were issued for much of the U.S. West Coast. Emergency officials urged people to take action now and move away from the shoreline. Monitoring continues as Pacific nations brace for further impacts. Tsunami waves measuring between 10 and 13 feet were recorded in Russia's Kamchatka region and along Japan's northern island of Hokkaido, following the powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake off Russia's eastern coast. In Alaska's Aleutian Islands, wave surges reached up to 1.4 feet above normal tide levels. The U.S. National Weather Service confirmed that waves were also observed along the California coast, including the Arena Cove and Monterey areas, in the early morning hours local time. Tsunami watches and warnings were issued across a broad stretch of the Pacific, including the entire U.S. West Coast, Guam, the Philippines, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Parts of Canada, Russia, Indonesia, and Japan were also placed on alert for potentially hazardous wave activity. Hawaii, Alaska and the U.S. West Coast have been downgraded to a tsunami advisory, however warnings are still in place for the Northern California coast. The Hawaii Emergency Management Agency issued a 3-hour warning to evacuate coastal areas immediately ahead of the first wave, which was expected to hit the Hawaiian Islands just after 7 p.m. The cruise lines listened. Norwegian Cruise Line's Pride of America made an urgent departure from the port of Hilo because the danger diminishes significantly in the open ocean. Oceania Regatta appears to have fled from the Kailua Kona cruise port early as well. Unfortunately, not everyone made it back to the port quickly enough, as guests didn't expect to depart until 6 p.m. local time and many were in the middle of shore excursions. It's unclear how Norwegian Cruise Line will compensate or assist passengers who were left behind once the danger passes. For now, initial reports show that at least some guests that did get left behind are being brought to higher ground by tour providers. Deal of the day: 13-night transatlantic cruise on the Carnival Glory from Barcelona to Port Canaveral, sailing April 11, 2026, with stops in Alicante, Malaga, Gibraltar and Celebration Key. Prices start at $474 per person, double occupancy. Call Chillie 434-258-9264 for more information and to book. The original story was written by our friend and former contributor Ashley Koshalik for Doug Parker's CruiseRadio.net. 19 water slides in a lazy river are just some of what Norwegian Cruise Line plans to include in the latest round of enhancements to private island Great Stirrup Cay. The nearly 6-acre park, dubbed Great Tides Waterpark, is scheduled to open in summer 2026 on NCL's private island in the Bahamas. The area will offer an 800-foot-long, dynamic river, which Norwegian says will have a current slightly faster than that of a typical lazy river. For more active pursuits, cruisers can check out Tidal Tower, which will be home to 8 of the island's 19 water slides. 2 drop slides, the tallest on the island, dual racing slides, body slides and tube slides that send riders through spirals that change direction. At Cliffside Cove, families and adrenaline lovers can try racing slides or opt instead for a 4-person family side. The line is also introducing a cliff jumping experience in this area with 2 platforms, respectively offering 10 and 15-foot jumps. The island's 8 remaining water slides are mini versions found at the center of the water park in the 9,000 square foot splash zone for kids. All of these enhancements are part of a $150 million project that aims to transform the island into a product that can compete with offerings from other lines, including Royal Caribbean's private island Perfect Day at Coco Cay and Carnival Cruise Line's Celebration Key. A startling incident aboard Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas is making headlines after a cruise guest was captured on video falling from the hideaway pool on Deck 15. The footage, which has gone viral on social media, shows the individual sitting precariously on the edge of the ship's aft-facing infinity pool before losing balance and toppling over the outer railing. Despite the alarming visuals, the situation had a fortunate outcome. The guest did not fall overboard or off the vessel. Instead, they landed on a secured, crew-only walkway just below the pool area, which is protected by a secondary glass safety barrier. Eyewitnesses reported that the guest appeared to be uninjured and was quickly assisted by crew members. It's unclear whether the individual was attempting a stunt or simply misjudged their position on the pool's ledge. Royal Caribbean has not issued an official statement regarding the incident, but safety protocols appeared to function as intended, preventing what could have been a far more serious situation. This incident occurred on the same sailing during which a crew member jumped off Icon of the Seas following a stabbing incident. That tragedy ended in the crew member's death and overshadowed the rest of the voyage. A tragic incident occurred aboard Carnival Dream during its recent 6-night Western Caribbean sailing, as the ship returned to Galveston on Saturday with one fewer passenger than when it departed. The death reportedly took place in the early hours of Wednesday while the vessel was sailing between Costa Maya and Belize City. According to guest accounts, emergency alarms were sounded around 3 a.m., waking many on board and alerting them to an onboard emergency. Carnival Cruise Line has not released the identity of the deceased passenger, nor the specific cause of death. A spokesperson for the cruise line noted that details are being withheld out of respect for the individual's privacy and their family. An FBI investigation is currently underway, which is standard protocol for passenger deaths that occur at sea while aboard U.S.-based cruise ships. The agency has not provided further information at this time, pending the outcome of the investigation. Carnival Dream, which sails regularly from Galveston, continued its itinerary following the incident and returned to port on schedule.
Let's talk about Allianz travel insurance. That's what I use and have for years. Without travel insurance, you'll have to navigate every travel emergency on your own, whether it's that missing suitcase or a medical evacuation. With Allianz travel insurance, you have a dedicated team of travel and medical experts on your side. For more information, just give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll talk about an Allianz policy that fits your needs.
Less than 2 weeks after opening, Carnival Cruise Line's new Celebration Key is already proving wildly popular. Guests visiting Celebration Key on October 4, 2025 have had Pearl Cove Beach Club rentals canceled and refunded. Carnival Cruise Line has explained the cancellations as due to a private event, but without any further details. The Pearl Cove Beach Club is the adults-only private area and requires extra fee access passes for interested guests. A Delta Airlines pilot that was taken into custody after landing at San Francisco International Airport was arrested on child sexual assault charges, authorities said. Rustam Bagwagar, 34, was booked on 5 counts of oral copulation with a child under 10 years of age, according to a statement provided by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office Monday. The statement said the arrest stemmed from an ongoing investigation that began with a report of sex crimes against a child, made in April. County records show that Bagwagar was arrested and is being held in lieu of $5 million bail. The United States warned travelers to exercise increased caution when traveling to Thailand and Cambodia, following heightened conflict between the countries. The State Department raised both advisories to Level 2 on July 25, citing the risk of unrest in Thailand and crime and landmines in Cambodia. Areas near the Thailand-Cambodia border are also designated Level 4, its highest rating because of armed conflict.
Cruise around the world with the Will Model C2. That's the chair that I use. Our chairs will easily fit through accessible cabin doors and can navigate those tight spaces and crowded places. To see if Will may be right for you, click on the link below to schedule a test drive. Just tell them to use code Chillie for all your mobility needs. That's scootaroundstore.com. And that puts an end to the news portion of today's show. Thanks for Nestor News. for his lovely recitation of same. All right, so let's go over in the chat room and see who is fussing at me today on this Wednesday. As I mentioned, Gary, Bob, and Mike were first ones in the house today. Hot Air Tom is here. Says good morning, everybody. Gretchen says, hey, guys. Hot Air Tom asked a question. Is today the day Katie heads south? And I believe, yes, it is. Steve is with us. Says good morning, Chillie, and everybody. Good morning, Steve. Joanne is here. Joanne, I hope you're getting back to normal from your procedure on Monday. We were all thinking about you on Monday. Todd says good morning to everyone. Kenneth's with us up in Pennsylvania. Hey, Kenneth. Gretchen says, don't know if Katie leaves today, but it has to be close. Yeah, it's getting close. It is today. Hot Air Tom says, Katie just texted. She's waiting to get on the ferry on her way off the island. Yeah, sad day for her, Gretchen says. I agree. Wow, it doesn't seem like she was up there as long this summer. I guess it's been crazy on my end of it. It is the end of July, and she does go back starting school in August. So I guess anyway. I think we need to give the AI speaker a name. Any suggestions? Yeah, his name is Nestor News. That's all, Nestor News. I already gave him a name. If you want to give him another name, go ahead. Ain't got no problem with that either. I mean, everybody knows that that's that's my guy. Duncan Stewart is with us. Good morning, Duncan. I was watching Hawaii. The wave went past them and the flooding was limited. Yes, that's true. Japan got the worst of it so far. There's still the one area in California that, at least the last time I looked into it, still had warnings. Everything else has been pretty much lowered to advisories now. So, yeah. But it was an 8.8 quake, and you just don't know what can happen from those kind of things. So, yeah, I believe Hawaii got lucky, as did, like the Alaskan coast. Yeah, they had some water, but not near as bad as it could have been. Same with our West Coast. So I appreciate that, Duncan. Thank you for the update. All right, guys. That's going to wrap me up for today. As always, please smash that thumbs up button. That helps the channel out tremendously. Take this as my invitation to join us. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. And that's going to be it, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. All right, guys. Have a great Wednesday. I look forward to seeing everybody on Friday if I don't see you tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a great day. See you next time.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.